It was an ordinary August morning in 2018 when the life of the Watts family in the small town of Frederick, Colorado seemed idyllic on the outside but hid deep cracks within. Shanann Watts, an energetic and cheerful woman, mother of two little girls, Bella and Celeste, and 15 weeks pregnant with her third child, returned home from a business trip in the early morning hours. She was full of plans for the future, actively managing her social media page, sharing about her family's life and how they were expecting their third child. But the next day, on August 13th, Shanann did not answer calls. This was strange for her, as she was always in touch, especially with friends and business colleagues. Her close friend, worried about her disappearance, contacted the police to check the Watts family home. Christopher Watts, Shanann's husband, greeted the police at the door. He seemed calm, but answered questions hesitantly, repeating that he did not know where his wife and daughters had gone. The police began to search the house. Inside, everything appeared calm at first glance. There were no signs of forced entry or struggle. Shanann's car was parked in the driveway, and her phone was found on the kitchen counter. But something was amiss. The disappearance seemed too sudden and unexplained. Christopher soon agreed to give an interview to the news, pleading for his family to come home. On screen, he looked devastated, nervously clasping his hands and struggling to find words. He insisted he did not know what had happened and asked for help in the search. But his manner of speaking, his cold calmness while his wife and daughters were missing, raised suspicions among many. Meanwhile, the police wasted no time. Investigators got involved, working with surveillance cameras, phone records, and witness interrogations. During the investigation, it became apparent that the relationship between Christopher and Shanann was far from ideal. In recent months, their marriage had suffered serious strain. Shanann increasingly noticed her husband's emotional detachment, and soon the police discovered that Christopher had been having an affair with a young woman named Nicole Kessinger. This revelation became a key moment in the case. A few days after the disappearance, under constant police pressure and already under suspicion, Christopher unexpectedly confessed. But his confession initially seemed like an attempt to shift the blame. He claimed that Shanann had killed their daughters in a fit of rage, and he, realizing this, strangled her. However, investigators did not believe this version of events. Under the influence of interrogations and evidence, Christopher soon revealed the horrifying truth. On the night Shanann returned home, they got into an argument. Shanann felt that something was wrong, and their conversation quickly escalated into a tense confrontation. In a fit of rage, Christopher strangled his wife, killing her right in their bedroom. But the horror did not end there. He also later strangled their two little daughters, Bella and Celeste, in complete silence and coldness. After the murders, Christopher transported the bodies in his truck to an isolated oil site where he worked. There, he buried Shanann in a shallow grave and hid the bodies of his daughters in oil tanks, trying to cover up the traces of his monstrous act. While the police continued their investigation, he pretended to search for his family, giving interviews and playing the role of a worried husband and father. But soon, the police found the bodies. Bella and Celeste were discovered in the tanks, and, even more horrifyingly, investigators found that the eldest girl, Bella, had tried to resist before her death. This revelation shocked everyone following the case. Christopher Watts was arrested and charged with the murder of his wife and daughters. At trial, he appeared broken, yet his crime was so monstrous that no one doubted his guilt. He not only took the lives of his wife and children, but also betrayed their trust and love. In November 2018, Watts was sentenced to 5 life terms without the possibility of parole. This case shocked America with its brutality and coldness. Many tried to understand what could drive a person, once considered a caring father and husband, to commit such an inhumane crime. Christopher Watts destroyed not only his family but also the lives of those who knew and loved him.